Here's your host, John, with more classic movie reviews.
Welcome to today's show. My name is John. As always, you can subscribe to the show on iTunes or follow the links to social media in the podcast show notes. You can also go to snarkymoviereviews.com to read notes, bios, and other random movie thoughts. Remember, this show is completely free and independent. All I ask is that you jump over to iTunes and give me a review. Today's movie is A Christmas Story, 1983. It's a family-friendly, traditional Hollywood tale.
The actors.
Melinda Dillon played the role of loving Mother Parker. Melinda was born in Hope, Arkansas in 1939. Go Bill! Melinda was working in improv when she made her film debut in The April Fool, 1969. Her next role came 7 years later with Bound for Glory, 1976. Melinda is perhaps best known as the mother of a kidnapped son in Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977. Other roles include Absence of Malice, 1981, A Christmas Story, 1983, Harry and the Hendersons, 1987, The Prince of Tides, 1991, and Magnolia, 1999. Darren McGavin played the dad, the old man Parker. McGavin was born in 1922 in Washington. He trained at New York's Neighborhood Playhouse and at the Actors Studio. For his debut, he had an uncredited role in A Song to Remember, 1945. Some of his earlier roles include a drug pusher in The Man with the Golden Arm, 1955, and Captain Russ Peters in The Court-Martial of Billy Mitchell, 1955. Both of these films were directed by Otto Preminger. He also played the role of Mickey Spillane's hard-boiled private eye in Mike Hammer, 1958. McGavin continued to make movies and star on television until he got the role of reporter Carl Kolchak in the telemovie The Night Stalker, 1972. This was followed by The Night Strangler, 1973. This led to the great but short-lived TV series Kolchak, The Night Stalker, 1974, which also starred Simon Oakland as McGavin's editor. Other movies included A Christmas Story, 1983, The Natural, 1984, where he put in an amazing performance, Turk 182, 1985, Raw Deal, 1986, and Dead Heat, 1988. He continued to act on stage, and in 1990 he played Candace Bergen's father on Murphy Brown, 1989 to 1992. He continued to make movies through the 1990s. McGavin died in 2006 at the age of 83. Peter Billingsley played the role of Ralphie. Peter was a child actor, mostly in commercials. He received the role in A Christmas Story, 1983. Since that time, he has worked behind the scenes in Hollywood.
Story.
This movie is really schmaltzy, and I really like it. Even though it's on 24 hours a day in December, I really like it. The movie is set at an undetermined date after World War II in the small town of Homan, Indiana. The main character is Ralphie Parker, Peter Billingsley, a 9-year-old boy. The story is narrated by his older self, voiced by Gene Shepard, telling the story of the week before Christmas. Ralphie, his little brother, and some other friends have their face pressed to the Christmas display at a department store. The only item Ralphie is interested in is an official Red Ryder carbine action 200-shot range model air rifle with a compass in the stock and, quote, this thing which tells time, a sundial. Ralphie knows he can't ask for the BB gun directly or he will get the dreaded no. He adds advertisements into his parents' magazines. One morning at breakfast, his mother, Melinda Dillon, asks about Christmas and he blurts out that he really wants the BB gun. She replies with the oft-quoted line, "You'll shoot your eye out." Ralphie has a fantasy session about defending his family from bandits armed with his trusty BB gun. The sequence ends with the sound of his father, Darren McGavin, doing battle with the home furnace complete with inaudible cussing. Ralphie and his friends live a Nordic existence. Ralphie meets his two friends, Flick, Scott Swartz, and Swartz, R.D. Robb. Tagging along behind them is his little brother stuffed into a snowsuit. Flick and Swartz argue about what would happen if you stuck your tongue to a freezing flagpole. Swartz triple dog dares Flick, and Flick sticks his tongue to the pole, trapping himself. The other boys run to class when the bell rings, leaving Flick behind. In the classroom, the teacher asks about Flick. When she sees what has happened, she calls the police and the fire department to free the boy. After a bit, Flick comes into class with a bandage on his tongue. The teacher chews the class out. She then assigns him an essay on, quote, what they want for Christmas. Ralphie knows that if he writes a good enough essay, he will be sure to get the BB gun. Every day after school, Ralphie and company are bullied by Scut Farkas, Zack Ward, and his toady, Grover Dill. Scut has yellow eyes. Ralphie finishes his essay and watches his father walk across the yard as he is accosted by a pack of neighborhood dogs belonging to the Bumpuses. Apparently they own a herd of bloodhounds that are Ralphie's father's bane of existence. The father's mood is brightened when he receives a telegram saying he has won a major prize from the local newspaper and it will be arriving that night. Mother and brother are having fun at dinner as the small boy pretends to eat like a pig. A delivery truck arrives with a large box labeled Fragile, to which the father says, "Ah, fragile. It must be Italian." When the box is opened, inside is a lamp designed in the shape of a woman's leg, complete with stockings, high-heeled shoes, and a skirt for a shade. Old man Parker is so happy he puts it in the front window, but Miss Parker seems to have some issues. The two boys are drawn away from all of this when Little Orphan Annie comes on the radio. At school the next day, Ralphie turns in his BB gun essay. He daydreams about the teacher saying it is the best essay she has ever seen. They have another bullying session after school. When Ralphie gets home, he finds out his much-desired Little Orphan Annie's Secret Society secret message decoder pin has arrived. Ralphie records the coded message at the end of the Little Orphan Annie show. He locks himself in the bathroom and carefully decodes it. Much to his chagrin, it is a commercial message. Drink Ovaltine. That night, the furnace acts up and Old Man Parker heads down while passing Mrs. Parker with a watering bucket. Shortly thereafter, a large crash is heard in the living room. The father rushes up and sees his beloved lamp in pieces. She says it was an accident, to which the father replies she was jealous of the lamp, to which the mother replies it was the ugliest lamp she had ever seen. Father attempts to fix the lamp, but when he can't, he buries it in the backyard. The next day at school, the kids are all giving the teacher small presents. Ralphie unloads a large fruit basket, hoping to gain favor on his paper. That night, the family goes to pick a Christmas tree. The father fancies himself as a great haggler, but not so much. They have a flat on the way home, and Ralphie is holding a hubcap full of lug nuts for his father. When the hubcap is knocked out of his hand, Ralphie drops an F-bomb. He has heard his father say this every day of his life. Back at home, his mother washes out his mouth with soap and demands to know where he heard that word. Not able to rat out his father, he says Schwartz. The mother calls Mrs. Schwartz and tells the story. You can hear Schwartz being beaten over the phone as he screams, "What did I do? What did I do?" Ralphie is sent to bed early and has a fantasy about his parents feeling sorry because having his mouth washed out with soap caused him to go blind. The next day at school, his essay is returned. He gets a C+ and a note that says, "You'll shoot your eye out." Ralphie has another daydream that the teacher is a witch and that his mother has gotten to her about the BB gun. Walking home that afternoon, Ralphie is in despair, thinking he will never get the coveted BB gun. Just then, he is hit in the face with a snowball. Taking off his glasses to wipe his face, he sees Scut and the toady laughing at him. Filled with rage and disappointment, Ralphie can't take Scut's mocking. He jumps on the bully and pummels him on the ground as a list of curse words flow. Ralphie's mother finally pulls him off, leaving Scut with a bloody nose. Back at home, the mother tries to calm Ralphie down as his little brother cries that Daddy's going to kill Ralphie. When the father comes home that night, his mother covers for him, and they put the Scut Farkas affair behind them. Ralphie decides the only way to get the BB gun is to appeal directly to Santa Claus. The next night, Christmas Eve, the family goes to the Christmas parade and then to the mall to see Santa. Did they have malls back then? Anyway, Santa is at the top of a snowy mountain. After the kids talk to Santa, they ride a slide back to the bottom. The line is extremely long. When Ralphie finally makes it to the big guy, he freezes. The overworked Santa and elves try to force Ralphie to decide. In panic, he finally asks for a football. Ralphie is sent down the slide by an angry elf, but pulls himself back up and tells Santa about the BB gun. Santa says, "He'll shoot your eye out, kid," before putting his boot on Ralphie's head and pushing him down the slide. Christmas morning, the two brothers come downstairs, and the younger brother starts claiming all of the presents. The boys go into a frenzy, ripping packages open. Ralphie has an aunt that thinks he is a 4-year-old girl and he is forced to wear a bunny suit that she has sent. His father says he looks like a deranged Easter bunny. Later, the little brother is passed out on the floor and Ralphie is on the couch with his parents. His father asks him if he got everything he wanted. Ralphie says almost. Then the father points out one more present behind the desk. The present is, of course, the BB gun. Ralphie goes outside to try the gun on a metal target while the father picks at the turkey. When Ralphie shoots at the metal target, the BB bounces back and hits him below his eye, knocking off his glasses. Ralphie thinks he shot his eye out. Then he steps on his glasses. He starts crying and pretends an icicle fell on him. His mother believes him and gives him an old pair of glasses to wear. During the confusion, the Bumpus's bloodhounds bust into the house and eat the turkey. After the father chases the dogs out, the family goes out to eat. The only place open is a Chinese restaurant. The waiters try to sing Christmas carols as the roast duck, complete with the head, is presented for dinner. When the father asks about the head, the owner, John Wong, lops the head off and the family has a fine meal. Ralphie takes his new BB gun to bed and he thinks it's the best Christmas ever.
Here's the world-famous short summary.
Be careful with fragile stuff. If you enjoyed this week's show, please tell your friends, and if you really want to help, drop over to iTunes and give me a review. If you want to comment, recommend a movie, or just say hi, follow the links in this podcast show notes to my site. Beware the Moors.